It's another day, and I still cannot justify being in a public lobby on AC, if I'm honest, but we're going to do our best. This was actually a decent race today. We had a really good fight with the guy behind. Not that guy behind that you're seeing on screen, at least I don't think so. We qualified P1 by a good margin, but the race ended up being a lot closer than expected. We got away cleanly, but as you can see, some of the guys in the rear of the field here did not. The guy behind us spinning out, and a little bit more turn one chaos, as you can see, is per usual for Spa. We head down into Eau Rouge and Raidillon. We have a decent gap build up, as you can see here, about a second between these two, who are definitely fighting. So hopefully that does slow them down into the coming laps here. Eventually the leaderboard timings will get all screwed up and go away, so we won't be able to actually see the gap, but for now they're alright. We go into the first chicane here. Chicane corners, I'm not exactly sure what you would determine this to be, but it felt pretty good. Everything felt pretty smooth, a little bit of understeer, but just trying to push with the heavy fuel and get away from this battle that's going on behind us. As you can see right now, Morning Napalm's in second. That's kind of the guy that sticks with me throughout this entire race, and he gave me a good fight. It was a lot closer than I expected it to be, but his fight with him didn't end up being close, as you can see here. Yeah, so that didn't go that guy's way, unfortunately, but Morning Napalm managed to survive. A little, like a second and a half between us at the moment. As we get through here, I think it'll open up a little bit. I definitely had some really good early pace, and obviously Morning Napalm had that battle, which probably slowed him down quite a bit. But I mean, these F4 lobbies, they're super fun if you can get into the right one. I mean, this car, the Tatus, is super fun to drive. We drove this for our first season of the F4 League in Venus. And you know, if you get another driver who's on your pace, it's a really good time, you know, and if you both can keep it clean, it's better than your average public lobby experience, that's for sure. But I really think the F4 car is a really good car for publics. It's not like a super common car. There's like one server, which is pretty full half the time, but not a lot of people run the F4 car in general, let alone in this server, at least from what I've seen. But it's a lot of fun. Now, this is still Morning Napalm, despite what the screen is telling you, but he's just on our tail, giving us absolutely no room to make any sort of mistakes. As you can see, the car getting really sideways there as we bring it back on to the main straight here, with the gap being relatively similar. I wish I could actually tell you what it is. Oh, it does come back. It's about 1.7 before it breaks, I think, for the rest of the race. Breaking down into the first corner here, still trying to run away from Napalm. We do have a back marker. I'm not sure if that slowed Napalm down or not, but he does kind of hang on to the back of Napalm. I don't know. If I were him, I'd be sweating bullets, because just being around any back marker is just never fun. Through Rouge and Raidillon again, throwing the car all over on the limit, doing your best to not become deceased at the exit of Eau Rouge. Onto the main straight here, a little bit of traffic up in front of us, as you can see, but I don't really think, oh, that's a lie. I was going to say I don't think they came into play, but they absolutely did. I've forgotten what happened in this race already. Like I said, mistakes are definitely not going to be not capitalized on by Napalm, and we have one going into here. As you can see, that gap just growing ever smaller, because, I mean, Napalm had some good pace, and not only did he have good pace, but he was extremely consistent, and that sucked. Because I just had these moments that were not super duper consistent, and I think that's what made the race closer than it needed to be. As you can see, the back marker is having the time of their lives outside of that corner. I make the mistake going into Raidillon, probably thinking about whatever the fuck was going on behind me, when I should have been thinking about what was going on in front of me, as is usual for racing. As you can see, we all come through here. The back marker is exceptionally slow, but me just trying to, you know, keep it clean. The last thing I wanted to do was, you know, get caught up in this traffic and have an incident or anything like that. So just sticking behind him through the corner and passing on the straight like a good, smart person. But all the while, Napalm is absolutely gaining time through me having to do that. With him being a little bit more behind, he doesn't have to wait through the corner, and he can simply just, pass them on the straight. So I actually don't know which one of these guys is Napalm behind me. I won't lie. I'm going to assume it's the guy that's racing actually very well and is directly behind me. You see his name there. Yeah, so that was Napalm behind me coming out of that corner, and you can see that that gap is, a fraction of what it was not even a lap ago, just because of the lap traffic. So they definitely came into play here. Into Puan, having a little bit of a moment. I'm trying to think if I called that Radeon earlier. I probably did, but we're going to act like I didn't. And I'm just still trying to run away. As you can see, he's hanging on to the back of me so well. And so much of this race was, just running away from Napalm, because he just had, like I said, consistent fast pace. Now, this is where things get a little bit interesting. We have a back marker who I'm not sure what he was doing, swerving all over the racing line, and that really slowed me down. I could have maybe made the decision to go outside sooner, but he made that move to the outside, and I just wasn't exactly sure what to do. So we've got Napalm all over our tail, pause, and he's going to try and hang it around the outside of this corner. Very similar to Max Verstappen that one year. He doesn't get past, but he does hang on. And into the braking zone, he just absolutely obliterates me. He just outbrakes me and shows me what a real racing driver should be doing into that corner. I was always going to have to concede. He had just way more momentum than me, and he had a nose up the inside. It was never going to work if I tried to really hang it around the outside, I don't think. So now the terms of this race have kind of switched up. Now, instead of Napalm trying to hang on to me, I'm trying to hang on to Napalm. And not to give myself too many flowers, but I felt like a needy girlfriend because I really was doing it. Through Erosion Radeon again. As you can see, the gap now is closer, than it was beforehand, just off slipstream. Wow, that's some serious racing insight. And I was trying to slip in and then kind of flare back out. I wanted more slipstream off of Napalm, but there was a little bit of ping. And I just didn't feel like I could get right up against him safely. And through this corner, as you could see in the third angle there, and the first person had to really back out of that. It was a dangerous one to try and go side by side through, and I felt like Napalm had the right of way to take the corner there. So I had to back out of that one. Still hung on to the rear and managed to keep it clean, which is the biggest part. A little bit of traffic there probably messed Napalm up a little bit, but it was unfortunate that this traffic was really still going flat out, because we both had to take kind of a thinner line into Puan here, and that really allowed me to get onto the back of Napalm as we go through this next set of corners. As you can see, lots of overlap going into here. Really late braking. He pulls out a little bit towards the end like he did in turn one. I tried to keep the nose in here, and unfortunately we made contact. What also was fortunate about that contact is that I was able to kind of right him, and he didn't lose that much time. I don't think that was expressly anyone's fault. I think I tried to keep a nose in, and he turned in on it, and I could have backed out and he could have left me space. It was a little bit of a 50-50. But as you can see on the cam here, the gap between us a little bit larger than it ever has been before. And unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on how you look at it, I'm going to pay for my sins in the previous set of corners, because that back marker spun, and I was in the middle of sliding the tires, and that just kind of caught my front nose, and now Napalm has passed me again here on the main straight. So, at this point, it's lap 6 of 6. We've, shuffled positions a couple of times here with the lap traffic and whatnot, and with that mistake, I've been put on a severe back foot, and it is now my job to gain what was like 8/10, I think, during the race in one lap to actually secure a win. So things are heating up here, pretty quickly, and I'm really trying to give it full beans. I'm giving it my all to catch Napalm here down into this corner, try to brake as late as possible, really tuck the car on the inside, get on the gas nice and early. Really nice exit through there. Knew I had to chuck it into here with good speed, and I managed to do so. the whole time trying to capitalize off of Napalm's slipstream. In here, into Radeon, I knew I had to not, make a mistake, but I really tried to throw the car in there as much as I could. And Napalm seemed to be a little bit weak through there. I think I just called that Radeon again. I'm not sure. But Napalm seemed to be a little bit weak there. I got the late braking on this set of corners into here. As you can see, the car is slipping and sliding all over the place, just like all in his slipstream.
Hey, yo, what the fuck?
And I'm doing everything I can to try and find a passing opportunity. Thankfully, I find a moment here. I stay around the outside wheel to wheel with Napalm. I mean, it's so close. And I didn't manage to go all the way around. And as you can see, he has the inside line there. But through the next corner, he leaves me plenty of space, and I have the inside line. As you can see now, the gap has kind of swapped. We're coming into the last braking zone of the lap, and I think we've got to be 2 or 3 tenths apart. I know he's going to brake extremely late here, so I brake extremely late on the inside. Probably a little deep. Napalm tries to find a way around the outside or the inside, but I made the car an absolute wall and managed to come across in first position. That was a really good race. Napalm was a really clean racer, had a lot of pace, but this was exhilarating. And I think this just kind of shows that with the right people, you can have a really good lobby, especially in these F4 cars. These produce a lot of really good close racing. So a couple of celebratory donuts and whatnot, but you let me know. You tell me, do you find lobbies like this often? Are they hard to come by? I think in my experience, if you're someone that plays often, you can have a lot of these. You just have to be smart. But you guys tell me, and I'll see you in the next video.